The Oral Torah teaches that God created 7 things before he created the world. Torah, repentance, Gan Eden, which is the spiritual Garden of Eden, Gehenna, the spiritual purgatory, his throne of glory, the holy temple, and the name of the Messiah. This means that it arose in God's thought that these things were necessary for the existence of the world that he would create. God, blessed be he, created his world for the purpose he desired. As the sages said, God desired to have a dwelling place in the lowest world, as an example, in the lowest physical world. This clearly teaches that God's objective for his creation of the world was to make a physical place which would be perfectly fitting for his presence to rest in. The service of all mankind, beginning from the time of Adam, the first person, is to contribute to reaching this objective. God has promised through his prophets in the Hebrew Bible that his desired future time will be realized through the coming of the true Messiah from the dynasty of King David, who will usher in the era when all people will see God's truth and the righteousness of all his ways. As the verse says, "And the glory of God will be revealed, and all flesh will see together that the mouth of God has spoken." Therefore, from before the beginning of time, when God sought to create the world, he also thought of the intended purpose of the world. The 7 things listed above are the goals of the creation of the world. Torah. The Hebrew word Torah means instruction. This is the revelation of God's will and his ways to human beings, teaching the way by which they can make the world into a place that is worthy for his essence to be dwelling in, openly and permanently. Repentance. This word in Hebrew is teshuvah, which literally means return. It is the process by which a person recognizes his true spiritual standing, how he has distanced himself from God, and he is therefore motivated to correct himself and his ways to thereby restore the bond of his soul with his Creator. As the verse implies, and the spirit will return to God who gave it within a person. This means that a person's spirit, his soul, will return to its connection with God, its Creator, to achieve the closest bond it can have with the divine presence while living within this world. About this process of personal repentance, the prophet said, "Let the wicked abandon his way, and the man of iniquity his thoughts. Let him return to God, and he will have compassion upon him, and let him return to our God, for he will abundantly pardon." Teshuvah, in its essence, coming personally closer to God, applies at all times and even to a person who has never sinned. Gehenna and Gan Eden. These are the spiritual purgatory and the highest spiritual paradise, respectively, and both of them have numerous levels. These are where a departed soul may receive its due punishment and cleansing from unrepented sins, or its due spiritual reward after being judged by God. At a time in the future, Gehenna will end, and the souls in the Garden of Eden, Gan Eden, will return to physical bodies in the world to come. The throne of glory. This is the spiritual manifestation of God's kingship over the creation. By making this known and famous worldwide through the visions he granted to his biblical prophets, God rightfully demands that in every generation, mankind in general and every individual must recognize his omniscient kingship and accept the yoke of his commandments that he gave in his Torah, those for Jews and those for Gentiles. The Holy Temple. This is God's house, his chosen place for the most open revelation of his divine presence in the world. The spiritual bond of the creation and its Creator is consummated through the service in the Holy Temple, which he commanded in Leviticus.